Don't get me wrong again in regards my stand against cessation, because I simply say that cessation is not the way to me. It's not the right way to go, and it looks delusional. That doesn't rule out the existing facts that there are evidence, there are grounds under which people are calling for cessation, right? Let's be fair in all aspects we do. So if you are that type that thinks that by virtue of I'm beginning to call out Igbos now or whatever, you are clapping and you are not following me, please unfollow me because I will disappoint you. And if I must tell you the truth, sincerely speaking, as it looks at the moment, the Igbo man is just ready to embrace anything that will just change the narratives of this suffering and this narrative of this hardship that everybody is facing, high insecurity, religious intolerance, and so more. Why do I say this? If you give an Igbo man regional government, I'm telling you he will be comfortable with it. And at the end of the day, he will do anything possible to strive to ensure that that comes to limelight, that progress. But you don't. It's just like beating a child and telling him not to cry. That is exactly what Nigeria is doing to the Igbos at the moment. Let's tell ourselves the truth and let's face it. Let's look at it now. I want to draw you back to even the expressions of the geopolitical regions as it looks in Nigeria today. For God's sake, tell me, how do we arrive at a situation just like in the words of Muhammadu Buhari of late that said that they are just a dot in the cycle? And let's face it, at the moment they are a dot in the cycle. Are they not a dot in the cycle? You have given the knot a very large portion that at the end of the day doesn't translate to prosperity. At the end of the day, the former eastern region now, you have succeeded in dividing it, giving a particular oil-rich nation to a specific part and keeping these people in the cycle. And let's not even talk about other things. Are you going to talk about the fact that when it comes to, see, if we must tell ourselves the truth, after the Civil War, the fact is, the Igbos were allowed back, but they were not fully accepted. It's just like Nigeria was still on guard in regards to them, right? And that is the truth. So, sincerely, let's put it this way. Their call for cessation or whatever is born out of all this ill treatment, except you are not normal, that you will now say that they are treated fairly just like every other person. But still, in regards this, what I'm just talking about is, let's walk from the known to the unknown. Because the last time I checked, none of the legislators of Igbo descent are yet to push for referendum or whatever. But regionalism, is it possible? It's possible. And how is it possible? Let's start by taxing this lawmakers, this government representative that are eating from it. The fact is, you must give us something that works, and possibly regionalization, right? And at the same time, let's work on a situation where this system that used to be one, that is talking about the eastern region, is it the southern region? The fact is, there is need for them all to come together, right? And put away their differences. And in so doing now, great things will be achieved, right? But politically, they have succeeded in dividing you, saying these are Igbos, these are Niger Deltas, of which from the inception is not true. I know a lot of people will start arguing that, is it not an Igbo man that actually called for the dissolution of unitary system of government or whatever as a system of control? That is also coming from a tribalistic and from an unrealistic point of view. Because he called for that, that doesn't mean that it reflects the reality at the moment. So realistically speaking, at the moment, the fact is, Nigeria must be fair to the Igbos. It's not written anywhere that they can become president, but the fact is, it's implanted, it's inscripted in the minds of other regions that these people should not be trusted. And the message is still spreading around. It's still spreading across. When you go to the northern part, what is their impression about an Igbo man? And let's face it, in terms of productivity, being industrious, being accountable. I will tell you that I will never trade that attribute of them with any other party in Nigeria. And that is just it. So what I'm saying is, can we be sincere to ourselves, for God's sake? Can we be sincere to ourselves to call bad, bad, and call good, good? And so doing, we can move forward. But seriously, my own stance still remains that cessation is a far-fetched something at the moment. Work on the reality. The reality is, let's start by holding these governors accountable and all the representatives. Give us a working system. And if you're talking about this, the fact is, how do you expect, imagine a dot in the cycle. How do you expect them to expand and grow? And the last time I checked, when you say they are not interested in one Nigeria, I want to remind you that it was only the Igbo legislators that actually pushed for a situation that there is need to revisit this issue of indigenousship. The fact that if you are able to stay in this particular region for so number of time, you should be considered as an indigene. What happened? It was rejected by the parliament. Why? So in the spirit of one Nigeria, why should such a move be rejected? I think we should only, the concept behind that was pushing for a kind of a situation where the true one Nigeria is reflected. That is to say, I can't reside in this place and at the end of the day, you will tell me I am alien. At the end of the day, small thing happen, you start saying, let's pursue them, let's kick them, let's send them away. That is what has been happening. Is it not what has been happening? So let's be sincere to ourselves, please. Until we change this narrative, seriously, nothing is going to change. But sincerely, my stance still remains that secession is a very long walk. Let's let the Igbos achieve regionalism first. And to some certain extent, I feel it's a natural phenomenon that we will get there. Because some parts cannot continue to remain redundant and expecting other parts to feed them. What if they don't even give you the regionalism or whatever? Do exactly what Kano is doing with this political sharia. Banning of alcohol. Look for what to ban to. Or possibly look for something that when it generate revenue, let the state government pass a legislation and say, this revenue that is generated is as a result of our cultural activity, so this cannot be accounted to the federal government for it to be shared to other regions. And let's equate madness with madness.